Check, check, check. Check 1 2, check 1 2. All right, let's get this party started. Great to have everybody here today. It was a rough day for a lot of college football programs in the state of Arkansas this weekend. Lord have mercy. We'll have Rex recap that here shortly. But great to be here. Let's count our blessings and know that we could be a lot of other places, but you're with friends who all love football and enjoy being around each other, successful businesses here in this room, and we got to be grateful for that. Boy, how was last week? Did you see the fallout that happened last week with Hunter Yurchek's comments? Holy cow. So Alicia, who does all of our social media, and her team, they put out clips of what is said. And I think the one about the third lane, whether or not we should get in the third lane, that got about 500,000 views. And then the one about we can't win this, we're not ready to win a championship in football. I think that got about 400,000 views. I think we probably had at least probably 1 million, 1.5 million, conservatively, maybe 2 million. And and boy, it concluded with what happened on Saturday in Memphis. Not a good week for the Razorbacks. But I'm still wearing the hog here, Rex. Still wearing it. Great. It's going to be great to have Tim Brown here today. How many of you were here when Tim came and spoke in 2015? How about that? A few of you. He was outstanding. I told him some things have changed since then. He doesn't have to give a speech. He does Q&A now. And how about him wearing the gold jacket? Give it up for wearing his gold jacket. You know what that means is every gold jacket we get in moving forward. Hey, Tim wore his. Wear yours. Why not? Listen, how many? There's 370, I think, total. 382. How many are living? Only 185. Wear your gold jacket if you got it. That's what I say. Thanks, Tim, for doing that. Next week, we have Craig James, the other half of the Pony Express. We had Eric Dickerson last year. That was really intriguing and entertaining. I think Craig James will be as well. He's an outspoken guy and is very opinionated, so look forward to having him. Reminder, Kelly Finglass. You know who Kelly is, Tim? You ever heard that name? So she is her meeting is going to sell out in about 5 days. So we're not going to be here. We're going to be over at the Marriott because of conflict here. So if you're a sponsor, if you're a member and you want to get a ticket, you better get it real quick because it's about to sell out. I was going to try to bring in some of the cheerleaders with her, Tim, but they're too darn expensive. Good Lord. She's expensive as it is anyway. So also we want to go ahead and announce our pop-up winners. You can see where Tim has signed it right here. A Heisman 87 Hall of Fame. Is that 15? Yeah, 2015. Love it when you can do that. Of course, we've got our 3 gold jackets up there. Willie Rofe, Dan Hampton, and Cliff Harris, who Tim knows very well and speaks highly of. All right, here's our winners. 041780. 041780. Where's my Price is Right? Stand up and yell winner. 041780. I'll pull another one if I have to. Going once, going twice. All right, here we go. 041793. 041793. Uh-oh. What? We got a winner. All right, back row back there. All right, so that's one. Where's the bucket at? I need to get the bucket. Did Debbie take the bucket? Give me we'll get it to you. You need to pull one more. Nobody ever claimed this other one. Oh, you only have one. I thought we had 2. I've been spoiled. Never mind. Only one we had 2 last week. I'm sorry. All right, sorry. Hey, and also, before we bring up Pigskin to give the prayer, did you hear the SEC office has announced our 3 annual opponents from the SEC for the next 4 years, right? For the next 4 years. They are Missouri, Texas, LSU. How about that? So I know everybody says, oh, it's LSU, but you know what? My goodness, that's what we had going. It was a fun series. And bring it back. We'll whip those Cajuns one way or the other. So I like it. And if you look at the matchups that the commissioner made, you saw a lot of the old rivalries are coming back. Texas OU, everybody, all the rivalries that meant something, I think, are back. And so anyway, that's just breaking news a few minutes ago. We didn't have Chuck Monin last week. We had Randy Allison, who did a great job with the prayer, but have Chuck Monin back, the official minister of our Touchdown Club. He's with the Pinnacle Church of Christ. Come on up, Chuck.
This prayer will be a lot shorter than last week's prayer from what I heard. But thanks, Randy. Tim, I'm assuming you and David are going to get off into the weeds telling some Coach Holt stories. A real quick one before we pray. So I was at a banquet a few years ago, and the coach was signing pictures and all this other stuff, and he's a bit mercurial. And one of the guys sent me back there. He said, "Now listen, Coach is in a bad mood right now, so you better be careful." So I walked up to him, and he stuck his hand out. He said, "Hi, I'm Lou Holtz." I said, "Hi, I'm Chuck Monan." I said, "I wish I could say it was a pleasure to meet you, but I'm feeling kind of nauseous right now." And he looked at me like, what's wrong with this guy? And I said, "I'm a Michigan fan, and you ruined a bunch of our seasons, you and your guys." And he said, "Weren't those great games?" And he just went off. But I'm saying this, I have no love for Notre Dame at all. In fact, when Tim walked in, I thought it's nice that he's landed on his feet. He's selling real estate for Century 21 with that jacket. Don't be hating. Shut up down there. We didn't ask that. Now, here's the thing. I say this with all due honesty. There were three people that scared me to death anytime my team lined up to play them. It was Tim Brown, Ricky Waters, and Rocket Ishmael. My friend, you're one of the greats of all time. Of all time! Listen, I know a couple people looking for a house, so see me afterward. I'll hook you up with them. Let's pray together. Father, we're thankful to be among friends. We're grateful for the camaraderie that exists here. We're thankful for the life-giving rain that you've put on the earth. And we're thankful for the food. We're thankful for Tim Brown, for the life that he has led, for the example he's been to so many. Be with him and be with his family in the days ahead. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Yeah, Tim, in Arkansas, we have edgy pastors, man. I'm sorry. Sorry, not sorry. I don't know. Man, don't tell him what he will say from time to time. I do want to thank our sponsors real quick. We couldn't do it without them. Our presenting sponsor, Simmons Bank. I think right now they are having their media day today for their big golf tournament, the Simmons Bank Championship, presented by Stevens at the Pleasant Valley Country Club. That's October 20th through the 26th. So that's where we have a lot of our Stevens folks. So thanks to them. Great to see Lunsford here as always, who help hand this thing off to from Metropolitan to Simmons Bank, but they'll be back next week, and obviously we wish them a lot of luck with the golf tournament. I also want to thank Stevens, Curtis Jeffries, Warren Simpson, Kurt Bradbury, Brad Eichler, Kevin Scanlon, the Stevens sons, John and Miles. They had a great tournament. You can watch it on the Golf Channel. I got a chance to see it. That was the Jackson T. Stevens Cup at Shore Acres in Lake Bluff, Illinois. We appreciate them, and they're obviously also a sponsor of the Simmons golf tournament. I do want to thank Crane Automotive. Appreciate them. Christian Crane, Chris Crane, all of them. 19 dealerships. All the family's done such a great job over the years. 6,000 cars available. 1,200 employees. Crane team's got them. Thanks so much. And always great to have the Crane team represented here every week. We appreciate all you guys. In addition to the Crane team, I want to thank Wright, Lindsay, and Jennings. 125 years they've been around, and they continue to help Arkansas build and grow. They have one of their attorneys here, a special guest, Patrick Wilson. He has a unique construction law practice. So if if you're facing a tough construction legal question, he's the guy. He's been around a long time. He's a Jacksonville native, Catholic high grad, proud Razorback alum. Where's Patrick at? Patrick, great to have you back again. Good to see you. I appreciate Wright, Lindsay, and Jennings and all they do. Judy, Henry. I know with all the talk with Sam Pittman and all the contract stuff is sort of interesting. I almost called Judy to say, what was the contract you had with Sam Pittman? Don't know. Anyway, that's for another time. Do want to thank Oakland Hot Springs, Zach Gillum, Wayne Smith, all the gang over there. I bounced back on my picks. I was 2-1 in the NFL. If you hadn't downloaded the Oakland Sports app, you don't have to play with a lot of money, $5, $10, $1, doesn't matter. But I'm back in the NFL, 2-1 this weekend, and I still struggled. You know what? I got sucked into betting for the Razorbacks. I did it, dadgummit. I said I wasn't going to do it after I lost the first game, and did it. They sucked me back in. They not going to do it again, never again. So but download the Oakland Sports app and have a lot of fun. You can bet against me, whatever I pick if you want to. Summerwood Sports, amazing sports complex, 40,000 square feet in Bryant. basketball, volleyball, birthday parties. Great to have the Hendricks family here and all that they do and what they do in the community. We appreciate you guys. And if you're looking for a place that's growing and unique, go out there and check out that complex. It's one of a kind, not only in Arkansas, but in the South. Double B's owner Steve Lytle and GM Ed Light, we appreciate them. 34 locations across the state. Hot delis and pizza, gas it, grab it, and go. Sissy's Log Cabin, been around 54 years. Bill and Sherry Jones, appreciate them. Locations in Pine Bluff, Little Rock, West Little Rock, Jonesboro, Memphis, and Conway. New location is going up on University. Excited about that. And we do have our first two. We have two ladies coming in a couple of weeks. I wonder if they will do something special like we did for Alyssa Lang and Laura Rutledge. Roller Funeral Homes, Renata Jenkins, Byler, Bill Booker, 24 locations across the state. We appreciate them. They are the best in the state at taking care of folks through the tough times. They are really outstanding. I want to hold the Hatcher Agency to the end. Anita, I got something I want to share about them a little bit later, something interesting that involves Tim. Let's go to Advantage Service Company. Thanks to Kevin Brooks, Matt Bailey. Appreciate you guys. My AC went down the other day, and they got it there immediately. Right on the spot, so I appreciate them. They've been in the business a long time, 35 years. 5011 call for all things HVAC and all your electrical needs. They'll take great care of you. Thanks for hopping on it real quick last week, guys. Simmons Bank Arena, Nate Bargatze left this Sunday, 13,000 plus people at Simmons Bank Arena. So you had the woman with the accent. What's her name? I'm just kidding. I just do that to irritate you. People get mad at me because I can't remember her name, but yeah. So if you want to know who's coming, go to SimmonsBankArena.com to find out all the great acts. And Michael Marion should be happy. His Mississippi State Bulldogs are undefeated 4-0. Boy, that's not good for Arkansas. But thanks to Simmons Bank Arena, Pulaski County Farm Bureau, Todd Dennis, Stephen Reichert. Thanks so much for your support over the years, for what you guys do for the club. War Memorial Stadium, John Latch, Mark Pike, Kevin Crash, Shay Lewis, appreciate you. Keep up the good work over there. Our media sponsors, Arkansas Democrat Gazette. Amanda, we got to go back a few years. I got a little picture coming up a little bit later. We have another great All Arkansas Preps Player of the Week. Continue to read Wally Hall every day. Still putting out great content. We appreciate them. 103.7 The Buzz. Tim was on with DJ and Justin. We're the only touchdown club in America that goes live with our touchdown club every week. It's pretty darn cool. And so we appreciate the Buzz's support. And, of course, my buddy Roger Scott, who couldn't be here today. Miss Roger. Not the same without Roger making jokes over there at the table. So, and Justin Moore and Josh Neighbors, of course. AY Magazine, Heather Baker. AY Magazine, Arkansas Money and Politics. They should be coming out with a Kelly Finglass cover story here in the next week or two. Arkansas PBS, Anita, Brian, Kevin, Tanisha. Excited about the announcement of Carlton Wing becoming the new executive director. We all know Carlton, so we're excited about that. He's an old sports guy, and he's a local guy, so really look forward. And this group right here is the best there is, and appreciate you guys, and look forward to continue to work together with Carlton. JF Media and Marketing, Alicia Dover and Jeremy Flynn. I was just telling Tim about, hey, you may say something today that may go nationwide. You never know. It can be good or it can be bad. I don't know, Tim. But because of Alicia and what they do with JF Media and Marketing, really appreciate them, and they allow us to get 10s and 12s and 20 million likes and impressions with what we do each week. The Doubletree Hotel, the best in the business. They do all this together every Sunday afternoon and every Monday after the Touchdown Club meeting. We appreciate them. Tim Glasscock, Sunbelt Convention Services, Rockstar Passes, and our new sponsors, Midtown Plumbing. Haley and Jim Coleman started back in 2013 with 2 employees, and now they've grown, based out of Benton. Awesome folks. Kyle Jackson, too. Great husband and wife team. That's Midtown Plumbing. Arkansas Surgical Hospital. It's over there on North Shore Drive off of Crystal Hill exit. 41 private patient suites, 13 state-of-the-art operating rooms. When it comes time talking to your doctor, say that's where you want to go for your procedure. In Arkansas Spine and Pain, Dr. Qureshi, Scott Davis, great doctor, 6 different cities, Benton, Jacksonville, Conway, Little Rock, Searcy, Whitehall. Appreciate them, and then especially these last 3 jumping on board. And last but not least, I wanted to show the Hatcher Agency. Greg Hatcher always brings a ton, including his family. He's got all of his kids, working in the business now, and they're kids, but they're young adults. Lane, Maddie, Kelsey, and Haley. And they've got the Hatcher Capital Investment, Scoops, Twin City Limo. They pick up all of our speakers each week. But Tim, I wanted to go back 10 years ago. 10 years ago. Let's take a look, if you can, Anita. If you can go back to our first photo that I have lined up. This was back in 2015. If you can get there. This was when we met you. I think we met over at the State House Convention Center. You can get there. There we go. So that's Amanda Copley, and that is Lane Hatcher as a sophomore. That's Tim Brown to the right. So he was being honored. Go to the next one. So that's Lane and Greg. So you were either 15 or 16 years old there, Lane. And Tim, what's crazy is that young man, as a 15, 16-year-old, little did you know that he would go on to throw for a national record 15,000 yards in his high school career, 185 touchdown passes, and would end up playing at Alabama and Arkansas State and others. And that was exactly 10 years ago. And what's crazy is that Lane is getting married, of all days, when? This Saturday, when Notre Dame plays Arkansas. So full cycle there. Lane, you got to get out of the doghouse for about 5 years in your marriage for doing that. Luckily, the kickoff's at, and show one more. You can show one more, Anita. Show the next one. Just to humor me. Look at the guy on the left. That's Wes Sutton on the right. Who's the guy on the left? I don't know him, but I wish I did. Nobody knows who he is. And who is that? That's actually me, Tim. That's back before I had to eat 8 meals a day. All right, here we go. Let's give a round of applause for all of our great sponsors, by the way. Couldn't do it without them. Our great Touchdown Club team, Dwayne Duncan and Chris Kane and RJ Hawk, Steve Sullivan, Steve Qualls, our amazing volunteer, 20-plus people. Do want to thank Carol Lee Ford and Evelyn Smith, all those little runners on the table. They not hand washed them, but they washed them themselves over the last week, so we didn't have to pay going to the cleaners. Thank you, Carol Lee and Evelyn. Debbie Wyman, our amazing executive director. Let's give all of our volunteers a round of applause. Appreciate them. They do it for free because they love it. All right, at this time we want to bring up State Rep RJ Hawk with our All Arkansas Preps Player of the Week. Another amazing weekend for our Player of the Week. RJ?
Thank you, David. Now, we've brought players the last couple weeks, and I've thrown out a lot of big-time stats. For those that don't know, we had the Darren McFadden Award, and this week our Player of the Week is a watch list person for that award this year, and rightfully so, because through the first 3 weeks of the season, his numbers have been outstanding. His name is Enoch Hassan. He's a senior running back from Greenbrier, and a couple weeks ago against Van Buren, he had 22 carries for 323 yards and 5 touchdowns, and Greenbrier won that game 48-34. Now, that was the second 300-yard game he's had this year. The first one came earlier in the season when they played Warren. He ran for 313 and 6 touchdowns. And so I was over here talking to Enoch just a minute ago. I said, okay, I just want to make sure I got your numbers right. You've had 3 games. You've run for 696 yards and 12 touchdowns. You're averaging 10.1 yards per carry. I said, is there anything else? He goes, you left off a touchdown. He said, I had a receiving touchdown as well. So anyways, your All Arkansas Preps Player of the Week is Enoch Hassan from Greenbrier.
All right, I hope the Rex will keep this pretty quick because listen, we don't need to go through the pain of hearing what happened on Saturday. And this was one of those ones I know there's other games to cover, but this was one of those I think we said on the buzz quite a bit that was a must-win. Arkansas had to win that game, and they did not. So that makes the rest of the season pretty tough. Give it up for Rex Nelson, everybody.
Pigskin may be our official minister of the Little Rock Touchdown Club, but David has given me a new title. He's letting me announce it. He didn't announce it, but I am now the minister of positivity for this club. No matter how our teams do, we're going to be positive. Norman Vincent Peale ain't got nothing on me, David. We're going to stay positive up here from now on. Think about it. We get to go out and enjoy the greatest sport in the history of the world every Saturday, regardless of outcomes. And then we get to come here to the best football club in America every Monday and join together with our fall family, as I call it, because I only see some of you in the fall. So, to quote the great John L. Smith, smile. It is an honor to be able to follow the University of Arkansas. One of the great moments in the history of this club, right, David? I'll tell Tim. So John L. Smith comes in. We're nationally ranked going into the season. You remember, David, it was an abysmal season. But he is speaking here, and back then the tables were a lot closer, and I'm sitting right to the right. And he says, it is an honor to be the head football coach at the University of Alabama. And I'm whispering, Arkansas. And he didn't catch it. And that had gone viral before the meeting was even over. On ESPN, it was all over the country. We need to put together a list of maybe our top 10 moments in Touchdown Club history, David. That would be on it. All right, I'm going to make this fast. Like I always say, for you old timers, it's like castor oil. Let's swallow it quickly here. Memphis 32. Arkansas 31, another late turnover. And I've got to tell you, some of the worst tackling I've ever seen. David, you were a linebacker. Do they not do tackling drills anymore in this era? You don't do much live stuff, I know, anymore. Wow. All right, the Razorbacks, as you know, had driven 68 yards. They put themselves in a position to win the game. No. Memphis had been down 28-10 in the second quarter. That was the largest comeback by an FBS team so far this season. Now, this is a good Memphis program. It is their 13th home win in a row. They are now 30-6 at home under Coach Ryan Silverfield. Arkansas, though, and God, this is the stat. It's not just that you lose, right? It's how you lose. Arkansas is 7-19 in one-score games under Sam Pittman. 7-19. First loss to a non-Power 4 since Liberty in that awful homecoming game back in 2022. Memphis outrushed Arkansas 290-175. Taylon Green was 18 of 34 passing, 325 yards, but 2 costly interceptions. So I try to go on, but it doesn't get any better. ASU, you play Iowa State off its feet. You almost beat Iowa State. You cannot lose to Kennesaw State the next week. They lose to Kennesaw State, 28-21. Kennesaw, in fact, jumped out to a 21-0 lead in the first quarter. They're now 2-2. Kennesaw is. ASU is 1-3 at this point. UCA. Well, that was a long trip, Chris. I hope you ate well, at least. UCA 1-3. 45-16 loss to Sacramento State. The home team led 28-0 in the second quarter of that one, and they were 38-6 ahead by the third quarter. So that one was over early. Now, Harding is still rolling. The number 2 team in the nation in Division II, and I'm telling you again, they could have another national championship team. 31-12 win in Magnolia against a very good Southern Arkansas team that came in 2-0. But Harding led 17-0 at the half. And they led 24-0 in the third quarter, so they put it away early. Harding again runs that option offense that nobody sees anymore. That's why they go so deep in the playoffs. I want you to consider this stat. It's not something you're going to see much in college football now. Harding had 433 yards rushing. That's 8.2 yards per carry. You know how many passing yards they had? 0. 0 passing yards and won by 19 points. Henderson also 3-0. 48-18 win at 0-3 UAM. They've got one of the best quarterbacks in the state, Anthony Edwards. He passed for 2 touchdowns, ran for another, even had a reception for a score. He was 18 of 28 passing for 243 yards and rushed for 75 yards. Roy Thompson, the former Ouachita defensive coordinator, who was the only guy who used to know how to stop Harding, is now the head coach at Arkansas Tech. He has Tech off to a 3-0 start, and they come to Arkadelphia and they beat Ouachita 28-23. Ouachita had won 7 consecutive games in that series and 11 of the previous 13 against Tech. So Roy Thompson is the real deal. Keep an eye on the Wonder Boys this year. Division III, Hendricks falls to 1-2 after a 41-19 loss to 2-1 Millsaps. In the SEC, only had 2 conference games. Oklahoma 24, Auburn 17. Sooners are 4-0 overall, 1-0 in conference. John Mateer, the transfer from Washington State, passed for 271 yards. I just can't keep up with the portal anymore. The former OU quarterback, Jackson Arnold, is now at Auburn. So he was playing his team from last year, and they were out for him. He was sacked 10 times in that game. So Auburn is 3-1 now, 0-1 in conference. Other conference game, Missouri goes to 4-0, 1-0 in conference with a 29-20 win over South Carolina, which is 2-2 overall, 0-2 in conference. Among the non-conference games, hate to tell you, but a week after beating Arkansas, Ole Miss was the most impressive. This was a good Tulane team that came into Oxford. They were 3-0, and Ole Miss wears them out 45-10. Trinidad Chambliss, you remember what he did to the Hogs. Well, he's still at it. Now, remember, he came from Division II, led Ferris State to the national championship last year. He was 17 of 27 passing, 307 yards, and rushed for another 112 yards. So he had 419 yards against a good team of offense. Keep an eye on the Rebels now. So this week, we, of course, do have Notre Dame at Arkansas. It's history. It is history to get Notre Dame to come to our state. Again, 11 a.m. on ABC, just like last Saturday. Other games in the SEC, you got Utah State at 4-0 Vanderbilt, 4-0 LSU at 4-0 Ole Miss. I think that could be a lot of fun. Tennessee's an undefeated Mississippi State. Alabama at Georgia. We'll see. UMass at Missouri and Kentucky at South Carolina. Now, get this. Ole Miss, LSU, Missouri, Oklahoma, Vanderbilt, Georgia, Mississippi State, and Texas A&M. Those 7 SEC teams are combined 30-0 right now. 30-0. AP poll, 10 of the top 20. LSU number 4, Georgia number 5, Oklahoma number 7, Texas A&M number 9, Texas number 10, Ole Miss number 13, Tennessee number 15. Aren't you looking forward to the SEC schedule? Alabama number 17, Vanderbilt number 18, and Missouri number 20. Now, this week, in addition to Notre Dame in Fayetteville, UAPB is back over. If you didn't get enough of Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium, they play in the Southern Heritage Classic. And that's a big deal. Alcorn State UAPB play in Memphis. Here in the state, we've also got Ouachita at Harding, SAU at Henderson, UAM at Arkansas Tech, Rhodes at Hendricks, and Westminster at Line. So you know what that means. Fayetteville, Searcy, Arkadelphia, Russellville, Conway, and Batesville. 6 different towns to choose from. No excuse. Get out and see a college football game on Saturday. Smile and be positive. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Rex. I wonder if we could do like as Rex does that, a little map that pops up. And each city that he does, it shines. I don't know. I don't know if it needs it. Rex it shines by himself. He doesn't need anything else. But thanks, Rex. Appreciate that. Before we bring Tim up, I want to recognize a couple special guests. Hold your applause, if you will. Judge Barry Hyde, I know, is here. Juju Harshaw, former Razorback, is with Crane Automotive. Great to see you, Juju. Ralph Smith, where's Ralph back there? Ralph is a friend of Tim that came in from Dallas or Texas to see, and appreciate having you here today. Also, wanted to mention Maddie Hatcher. I know, listen, I know I talk about your brother all the time, but I see you here at every Touchdown Club meeting, and I see you're representing, so I appreciate your support. I know you're killing it too. Exactly. And the main thing is here is that, Tim, one thing about our group, this is a great group of companies, a great group of people. This is a community. It's unlike any other touchdown club. It's people love to see each other here. It doesn't matter who the speaker is. If we get a great speaker, that's great. If we get somebody who's not well known, doesn't matter. We're still going to gather together. So I'm very appreciative of the support this club gives and how they support one another. So Tim, to have somebody so unique as Tim, again, there's only 10 people in the history of the game of football that's won a Heisman and in the college and also in the NFL Hall of Fame. I'll repeat that. In the history of the game of football, only 10 who have won a Heisman and also are in the NFL Hall of Fame. And you know what's crazy is the Little Rock Touchdown Club has had 5 of the 10. 5 of the 10. So for a young club like us, you know, that's why we recognize everybody, all these great sponsors, Tim, and these members. That's a pretty cool stat to have. So, all right, our man Steve Sullivan at KTV has put together a great open for Tim Brown. Let's take a look.
A self-proclaimed mama's boy, Tim Brown was a two-sport star at Dallas's Woodrow Wilson High. He was an instant hit at Notre Dame. He set the freshman record with 28 catches. As a junior, he set a record with 1,937 all-purpose yards. In touchdown, Timmy finished his college career with 137 catches and a school record 5,028 all-purpose yards. And the two-time All-American became the first receiver to win the Heisman Trophy.
I definitely have to thank my family for sticking by me through the bad times and the good times. God bless you all. Thank you very much.
The sixth pick in the 1988 NFL Draft, Tim was NFL's leading return man as a rookie. Tim racked up 9 consecutive 1,000-yard receiving seasons with the Raiders and was a 9-time All-Pro selection. He would retire with 1,084 receptions for almost 15,000 yards, 100 touchdowns, and 4,555 return yards. He's a member of both the College and Pro Football Hall of Fame.
This is the day that the Lord has made, and we shall rejoice and be glad in it.
Please welcome one of the greatest college and pro receivers, the pride of Woodrow Wilson High in Notre Dame, the great Tim Brown.
Before we begin here, I'm so glad you showed this video, and I'm so glad Ralph is here. You know, we play a lot of golf together, right? And every time he's like, "Hey Tim, I think I can shut you down, man. I think I can shut you down." Say, Ralph, hey, I may be old, but I may not be able to stop, but I can still run. So. You see that, Ralph? I hope you saw that. All right. So let's put all that behind us. All right.
That's what I love about these video opens that Sully does. It reminds us just how good you were, and sometimes we don't see them after a while, and you're not looking for your own videos. So
I am looking for them. The older I get, the more I'm looking for.
I am too. So it's all fair. Well, welcome back to Little Rock, man.
Good
It's been 10 years, and I know back then we talked about we brought in Tim the first time. We used to just ask our guests to do speeches, and you did a great job, but we do a little bit different now with Q&A.
Perfect.
And I love the fact you wear the gold jacket. So I know for some people, you know, some of our gold jacket guys, they just don't want to get it out, or maybe they feel they're going to mess it up. Why do you feel it's important to wear it?
Well, look, I mean, first of all, you work very hard to get this jacket. So, you know, and when you have the opportunity, my agent says this, look, I mean, give the people a little bit more than what they expect. You know, I could put on a blazer or whatever, but when you see this, you know, all except this one guy over here who thinks it's a real estate jacket. Besides him, you know, I mean, I think people, you know, they pause. I don't like to put it on the plane because people really like almost freak out. It seems like, but you know, so I carry it on the plane, but I'll put it on after I get off the plane. So
before we get to Arkansas, Notre Dame, you have another connection. You are for folks that don't know, maybe missed it. You're the commissioner of an arena league that had a team. In Hot Springs.
Yeah.
The Hot Springs Wise guys now named the Arkansas Diamonds, and they did pretty well this year.
They did great. They did absolutely great. I mean, they were second in attendance. We only had 6 teams. Next year we're going to go to 8. But they did a great job. I came down for a couple of games, and it was a lot of fun. It's what we expected would happen. I mean, this is a great state, and we thought they would adopt to it, and it worked out pretty good for us.
Could you imagine yourself playing Arena League? It's a compacted space, and
I tell you what, man, these kids play so hard, man. I mean, they're only making $400 to $500 a week. But I tell you what, they give it everything they have. I mean, they're flying over.
Yeah, I've seen some of the video of this year. The guys are flying over the padded walls onto concrete.
When you get over the padded walls, it's concrete. So
it is.
No, I love it. I love what they're doing. To answer your question, absolutely not. I couldn't see myself doing what they do. But initially, when I got involved with this, I felt bad because, you're paying these guys $400 or $500. But after every game, these kids come up to you and say, "Hey, man, look, hey, Tim, thanks, man. We appreciate it. I don't know where I would be if I didn't have this opportunity." So and for these kids, it's one more opportunity for somebody to pat them on the back to say, "Hey, good job," so it's working out pretty good.
Yeah, I was glad for Hot Springs, and that's great for the community over there. I hope that continues.
Yeah.
Now, for those who don't know, you grew up in Texas. He has a distinct statistic, the fact that you went to a high school as Woodrow
Wilson.
Wilson High School. It's the only high school in the history of sports that has not one, but two Heisman Trophy winners, Davey O'Brien and you. That's pretty cool.
It is really cool. I met David, his son. He had already passed away by the time I got to Woodrow. But his story is a little different because he got kicked out of his house and his mom made him go live with his aunt in East Dallas because they were from Fort Worth, which is, across the 30 miles away. And that's how he ended up at Woodrow. So, he was a little bit guy, like 5'7" or whatever, but it's a great football player, obviously.
And interesting, your team didn't have great success from a win-loss record, but you were one of the, you were long jumping 24 feet. You were one of the fastest guys in the nation in track, and you were recruited by the Nebraskas, the Oklahomas, the SMU, the Iowas. Again, as I always say, Tim, the statute of limitations has run out on going after players who were offered money back in the day. So, I played around. I'm a little bit older than you, but we all played in that era, especially coming out of Texas where money was flowing. When you were trying to make up your mind, of course, Notre Dame, of course, was the other school that was money ever offered? Was that an opportunity for you?
Look, mama new house, daddy new job, girlfriend come to school with you, $1,500 a month. I would play basketball games, and I'm really sad that you didn't mention my basketball because I really thought I was going to be a basketball player, not a football player. But I would play basketball games, and I would have head coaches. I won't say who they are. And they would have a guy, right? And the guy would be like hiding in the weeds or whatever. But you shake this guy hand, $1,500. This guy hand, $2,000. I would go home with $5,000 cash, and I didn't know what to do. I couldn't tell my mom and dad. I didn't know what to do.
What did you do?
I'm sleeping on $5,000 cash. Well, initially, I ended up telling my big brother. Of course, he scolded me to death and, wanted to jump on me, I believe. But I was 16 years old. How am I supposed to know? These head coaches telling me to go see this guy, and I shake a guy's hand, and I got $2,000 cash in my hand. So it was tough, man. I got to tell you this story. This is the craziest story ever. So I'm walking home from high school, which I had done, forever. And out of the blue, my high school principal, pulls up and, "Hey, Timmy, I want to take you home." I was like, "Okay, Principal Pierce. I've been walking home forever, but I'll take it." Takes me right over to SMU, right? Come to find out he was a alumni. I didn't know that. And he was still running the clock for the football games, right? So, of course, they're expecting me. Because, the coaches are all there, and they have me sitting at the head of the table and they're telling me, hey, what they're going to do. And, I'm 16 years old. So I'm thinking, man, I've solved all our problems at home, right? And all of a sudden there's a knock at the door, right? The secretary comes in, whispers in the coach's ear, and the blood leaves his face, right? So he grabs other coaches and they're huddling up. And he turned around and he was like, "Tim, I hate to do this, but can we put you in the broom closet?" I forgot. We were having, the lunch, whatever was Kentucky Fried Chicken, right? We had a bucket of Kentucky Fried Chicken. So I was like, what am I going to say, right? So they put me in a broom closet with the bucket of Kentucky Fried Chicken. Can't make this stuff up. And I'm literally in the broom closet like this, and I hear the coach say, I would never illegally recruit anybody. And for the first time in my 16-year-old mind, I said, this feels like a legal recruit, this feels like, and that ended my deal with SMU, because after that, my brother was like, he's 8 years older. It's like, we're not dealing with those guys anymore. So.
Yeah. So of course that leads to the obvious next question. So that what you're saying is that when Coach Holtz came to recruit you, there wasn't any money in any bags there, Tim. There was no money when you come to play for Lou Holtz at University of Notre Dame.
Remember, Coach Holtz came after my sophomore year.
That's right.
So Jerry Faust was a guy, and he almost lost me because he was a very touchy Philly guy, and he kept touching my mom. And my dad said, "Dude, you got one more time to touch my mom." To touch my wife, and we're going to have a problem up in here. No, nothing here, Mr. Pearl, nothing here. But, look, I mean, Notre Dame came selling one thing, and that is, look, your son has 4 years, has 5 years to get a 4-year education. If he decides after 1 week of football, he has to practice 1 week, but if he decides after 1 week he doesn't want to play, he doesn't have to play, but this is an academic scholarship, not an athletic scholarship. So, and I had a guy who came in my year who did that, who practiced 1 week and said, I don't want to play. And he graduated with me 4 years later. So, back in those days, man, my oldest brother, he knew everything about Notre Dame. And he told my mom, look, this football thing is whatever, but this education is real. You know what I mean? And my mom and dad told me when I walked out the door, hey, boy, there's no future in football for you. You go up there and get that education and get on back home. And I was, yes, sir, yes, ma'am. And that was my mindset.
So you turned down those other opportunities to go to a program. At that time, Notre Dame was not, they had some rough times, and Faust was not getting it done. Enter Lou Holtz. Mm-hmm. What do you remember about that first, meeting and first exposure to Coach Holtz?
Well, so when he first got there, he implemented 5 a.m. workouts, right? So we're trudging through 4 feet of snow to get to a 5 a.m. workouts in January. And we did that for 6 to 7 weeks or whatever. And then we went outside for spring ball. After the second day of spring ball, he pulls me in, right, in the locker room, in his office. And he says, okay, well, tell me the story. I was like, what story, Coach? He was like, why weren't you playing that much? I said, oh, they just didn't play me. Don't you lie to me, kid. You tell me the story now. I was like, Coach, there's no coaching staff in America dumb enough not to play you. Was it drugs? Was it women? Was it grades? You tell me what it was now. I was like, Coach, none of that. They just didn't play me. And he was like, son, let me tell you something. This is 2 days of spring practice. He said, I think you can win the Heisman Trophy. Wow. And I literally turned around because I thought somebody else had came in the room. And I said, hey, Coach, look, I came here to get an education. I'm going to go back home, marry my high school sweetheart, be a deacon in the church. And he was like, is that the problem? Is that what we're dealing with here? He was like, son, you can have both. And no one in my family had ever told me about both, So I was, and all of a sudden, like a light bulb went off. And, look, football came, I don't want to say it came easy for me, but I love practice. I love playing the game, So it was not like I had to turn a switch on. Obviously, he had seen something because, he has me in office. But, it was a moment that I'll never forget. For sure.
Yeah, you got a couple shots of you and Lou that, he was, we knew that when he was coaching at Arkansas, if there was one school that Lou wanted to go to, it was Notre Dame. Of course, he was either fired or let go. You can say whatever it was that Frank Broyles did to him. Let him go. He goes to Minnesota. And then it wasn't long. He obviously got Minnesota on track real quick. Yeah. He got his opportunity, and that was the school he wanted to be. And, of course,
I picked my shoulder pads up.
Look at the shoulder. Linebacker there. Back when we played.
I had a bad shoulder. That's what.
Yeah.
So I had to wear bigger shoulder pads.
But, of course, so he gets a turnaround, but you leave. You graduate before they win the national championship.
Well, when he got there, the first meeting he had with us, he said, men, we're going to win a national championship in 3 years. Right? So you got the juniors and the seniors going, what? We're at Notre Dame, so we can count. 1, Two, everybody was like, Coach, but he said it's only going to happen if you guys buy in. And literally, we had conversations about it. I mean, the group, I mean, the upperclassmen, we got together and we had conversations about it because everybody felt, we can't, everybody come there to win national championships, I mean, my high school, we won 4 games in 3 years, right? So we won 5 games in 1 year. I was freaking out. I didn't know what to do. But everybody expected all this great stuff to happen. But he told us there, we're going to win the championship in 3 years if you guys buy in.
How remarkable is that? He tells him that he can win the Heisman and tells the team they can win a national championship in 3 years. That was the greatness of Lou Holtz. This is a great picture of you and Lou here. I don't know how long ago it was, but I think what is he, 86, 87 now?
87, yeah.
87. And he's actually coming to Fayetteville this week. He's coming to the game.
He'll be here.
Do you stay in touch with Coach? Because you're his only Heisman Trophy winner.
Yeah, no, I do. He's a great guy. Love him to death. And anytime he's having an event, wherever it is, I try and be there for it, whether it's in Florida. We did something in Miami for him and back at Notre Dame last weekend. And I'll be back this weekend with him.
So yeah, you're going to be in Fayetteville. Yeah. So I always sort of find this amazing. We've never played Notre Dame. Arkansas has. And Notre Dame has so much mystique and mystery and legacy and all the things with a unique uniform. I'll go back to this first picture, this next picture, if you could, Anita. I got hooked on the history of college football. So anybody knows who that is right there? And how did you pronounce it?
Did they say Canute?
Canute's right. Canute is right. For many, many years, people have said it wrong. It's not Knute Rockne. And the way I knew that is because the widow of Canute Rockne told Ronald Reagan during the filming of Canute Rockne All-American, say his name right. It's Canute. And so, but that's where it all started. He was quite the showman back. I mean, college football was bigger than anything back in the mid-20s and late 20s, and he put it on the map. And you go from there, and you look at, you guys have had 22 undefeated regular seasons, 12 perfect seasons, 11 national titles. And you look at all the things that makes Notre Dame unique. When you roll into town, it's a big deal. What was it like as a player that every time you rolled into, besides playing the teams you always do, like a USC or whatever, what was it like to go to like Fayetteville? What's getting ready to happen when teams and programs would see you for the first time?
No, look, you can tell players have been talking about this and dreaming about this or whatever for a while. I mean, literally, it's like they're foaming at the mouth to get to us, And, and we knew going into every city that we went into that, and this is what we thought in our minds anyway, that we were the biggest thing on the schedule that year, right? So if they beat Notre Dame, then they had a good year. Northern Illinois last year beat Notre Dame. Didn't matter what they did after that. They beat Notre Dame. You know what I mean? So I think, and that's what our guys have to, we have to get up for every week. There's no down week for us. Even you play Purdue, and Purdue came out last week ready to play. You know what I mean? And we know that this week, with the talent that Arkansas has, that it's going to be because we don't have a defense. Our defensive backs just don't come out. They don't come out to play. So,
not going to say anything.
So
we got to improve in that area too, Tim.
But let me tell you, when I knew that Notre Dame was really special, we had President Reagan to come to Notre Dame. I think he was
the unveiling of the stamp, wasn't it? The Rockne stamp.
And a certain few of us got a chance to go meet him or whatever. But during after his speech, and literally they didn't tell me this until like 10 seconds before it happened. A Secret Service guy comes, I'm sitting 30 yards away, and he comes and said, President Reagan's about to throw you a pass. And I'm like, what? So it was like, so he's standing right there. He's like, okay, stand up. And as soon as I stand up, Reagan he throws a bullet. I snatched it out the air. Everybody's like, dude, if you don't catch that pass, it's over. But, having a president to be there, man, I think was just an incredible thing. And, you sort of got the feeling, you're a little different. You're a little different. But that's the incredible thing about Indeed. That's the thing about guys who go there. You don't go there just because you think you could be a great football player. You think you could be great in life. You know what I mean? And we have so many guys who are president. The guy who was my right tackle, who was a captain of our football team my senior year, is the president of the NBA, Byron Spurrell. I mean, how does that happen? You know what I mean? I mean, I got guys who are CEOs of companies, big companies, billion-dollar companies. So it's a different place, man. It's a different place, and the kids there are different.
Also, too, when you see the uniform, I think a lot of fans, that unique uniform, if you can, Anita, this is the picture we always showed once. So back then, it's a different color of the gold helmets than what it is now. So that's 87 probably.
80, yeah.
So let's show some of let's show a picture of the current. That might have been.
Yes.
So it's a new
glitter.
Now, do you like the glitter, or you like the old school?
I definitely like the old school, no doubt about it. But that's a little bit too shiny for me. But it looks good in night games, though.
Yeah. And so that's another thing, I think, the uniqueness of the uniform, when you try that on the field, it jumps out at you. It's not the typical uniform. And, of course, you guys have never had to be in a conference.
Right.
You do your own TV deal.
Yep.
When of all the games that you played, was there one that stood out of somebody that came in there that said that we're going to show Notre Dame, the truth?
Well, the Hurricanes.
Yeah. Obviously, Miami was tough back in those days.
I mean, back in those days, we were the ones foaming at the mouth to get to them, and they came in and we started out good, but it ended up not good for us, So
those were great games.
Those
in
great
that
games,
series.
yeah, no doubt.
One of the other things, if you've never been to Notre Dame, Anita, you want to hit this next shot. This is something they call Touchdown Jesus. So this is actually, you can see this outside the stadium where there's Jesus. Looks like he's doing a good signal for a field goal or something. So you've got Touchdown Jesus, and then the next one of the other pieces of history that I think Coach Holtz brought back, Play Like a Champion today. Every player hits that on the way out.
Yeah.
But that's also something that's a tradition, probably going back. I think Lou brought that back.
Yeah, look, I mean, walking out the locker room, everybody can't wait to get to that. I mean, because that's, I didn't have a plaque, but my whole career in the NFL, I would always imagine that plaque was there. And no matter what locker room I came out of, especially when I was at home, I would always hit that spot because, to me, that means a lot.
You talked about how you were offered money and you were given money, as a 16-year-old, somebody trying to recruit you. Fast forward to 2025, it's a new world. Not only talking about the transfer portal, but talk about the money and NIL. What do you think about the game today versus what it was for you when you were
from a Notre Dame perspective, man, we can't play in this NIL game, like everybody else. These guys are getting paid. Don't get me wrong. I think our running back is making $1 million this year. But it takes a different person to come to the University of Notre Dame. And if you go there for the money, you won't be there long. Because those 8 a.m. classes and that 4 feet of snow and those professors, they don't play. Look, I won the Heisman Trophy. And I had to go back to get the trophy, and I missed the final exam, right? So I come back and say, hey, Prof, need to take this final. And he said, no, you failed the class. I was like, hey, bro. I don't know if you watch TV or read the paper around this mud, but I've been a little busy. And if there's a BMOC right now, it is me. And I had to get a letter from the president of the university to take the final exam. You know what I mean? So that wouldn't have happened any other place, I don't believe. I believe the prof would have said, you good. But not at Notre Dame. They made me, I had to sit in a room by myself and take that final exam. So I'm just saying, you have to be it can't all be about the money, because the money is not going to be enough to get you up for that 8 a.m. class.
The other part is the transfer portal. They say that's going to be changed this year. How do you feel about the transfer portal, where basically for the last couple of years, you could transfer every year?
Yeah, that's ridiculous. I mean, you should at least, after your sophomore year maybe, but there are not many freshmen who can come in and play at that level right away anyway. So for them, and that's what got Saban out the game. I was Coach Holtz, matter of fact, took me to Augusta to play at Augusta, and who comes walking in but Saban, right? So these two are talking, and I'm sitting there like, I wish I had a recorder. But and Saban said, look, I had just recruited this freshman 8 months before, and he wants me to recruit him again. He said it's not going to happen. That's it ran him out the game. So it's ridiculous. These kids, man. and they are kids. They got to be taught some discipline, and to be at a place for 2 years, I don't think is that hard to do.
How much do you enjoy that stat of you being one of only 10 players to ever play this great game of football, to achieve the highest level in college, which is the Heisman, and also get a gold jacket? I mean, it's pretty remarkable. There's only 10, and you're one of those. A pretty amazing accomplishment.
Yeah, look, being the only receiver.
That's right. Well, Johnny Rogers, they claim at Nebraska he was really a running back and a punt returner. You were the
yeah,
true.
but he's not in the Hall of Fame. So.
No, yes, that's right. And
Me and Johnny have had this conversation.
That's right. And you're the first true receiver.
Yeah. And I was like, Johnny, whatever you want me to say, I'll say, brother, because I'm not trying to be on your bad side. But truthfully, I know. But look, when it happened, I didn't find out until the day I was getting ready to give my speech at the Hall of Fame. I had a buddy, old country bumpkin guy. Hey, Tim, did you know you're only the 9th guy to win the Heisman and be in the Hall of Fame? I was like, Lee Shaw, what are you talking about, bro? He said, it's got to be 30 guys who have done that. No. You're only the 9th guy, right? And I'm literally getting on the bus, going to the enshrinement, and I'm Googling how many guys. And at that time, they hadn't had to meet, so it was only 8 guys. And I was blown away by that. I just thought, my God, if we can do, and we've gotten together and we do a lot of things around the country together, because if you can do that, my God, what else can you get together and do?
Well, let me just so you'll know who they are, and the ones we've had at the Touchdown Club besides you.
Make them guess.
Give me a guess. Roger
Staubach.
we've had here.
You got 2. You got me and Roger. Okay.
Who else? Who? Charles Woodson.
Charles Woodson.
The most recent. We didn't have him here. Who? Tony
What's
Dorsett.
that?
We've had him here. Marcus Allen. We've had him
Marcus
here.
Allen. Barry Sanders. Okay.
They had Barry, but Barry's one of them.
Now we getting tough. Now we going to
more.
the old guys.
We got one. We got one more recent one that was, and I played against some pretty good running backs, but this was one guy I would not want to play against.
Yes.
Earl Campbell.
OJ
is on the list.
OJ's on the list.
He's on the list.
Okay, now we got 2 OGs.
Two OGs. That's
Two
right.
OGs.
I'll give you a hint. Notre Dame.
The Golden Boy.
Paul
Hornung. And the guy who we have the Darren McFadden Award, but the other award is
the National Running Back.
The Running Back Award. Doak Walker.
Yeah.
He was the first. Doak Walker was the first.
Yeah.
To be the Heisman.
Yeah,
Hall of Fame.
I think it shows too, Tim. That you can be a great college player, and I think of like Danny Werfel. Man, Danny Werfel was one of the best football players I've ever seen.
Yes.
But he didn't have the physical skills to do that at the pro level. And I've seen some guys that were great at the pro level that didn't. Maybe they were late bloomers in college. So it really is a remarkable deal. And you started out with the Raiders, and you didn't come out on fire those first few years, but then boom, 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 it was 1,000 yards, 1,000 yards, 1,000 yards. What do you owe your success to in the league? What do you think?
Well, actually, my rookie year, I had an incredible rookie year. I broke Gale Sayers, all-purpose, and something that will stand forever because nobody's going to be dumb enough to come into the league, returning punts and kicks and doing all the things that I did. My second year, I tore my knee up. So then everything just sort of slowed down for me. Al Davis told me then that I was going to be the best third down receiver, punt returner to ever play the game. But I wasn't going to play on first and second down anymore, right? So that's what I dealt with, 90, 91, 92. I was a third receiver, and I was doing what they asked me to do. The guy I was playing behind, Mervin Fernandez, gets hurt midway through the season, and I light it up the rest of the year. Next year, I make the Pro Bowl as a receiver, and I go on that run of nine
straight Pro Bowls. And I know too, I think we got a picture here, the unbelievable combination wasn't very long, but you guys, obviously that's Jerry Rice. And how would you like to be a DB and look at those two lined up against you? What was it like for you and Jerry to be together?
Man, it was incredible. Jerry and I could have played 20 years together. We were such different football players. I used to say he's a cute guy. He won't be out there with his long socks and long towel. I'm the guy with the big shoulder pads bumping into the linebackers and safeties in the middle of the field, But we literally could have played together all 20 years. And I was told by DeBartolo 5, 6, 7 years ago that in 92 he tried to trade for me, and Al wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. And that broke my heart. In 2019, it broke my heart to hear that because, I mean, it would have been an incredible run with Jerry. Jerry's a great guy, man. I tell you, look, there's nobody who works harder at his craft than he did, And, if you ran 10, he was going to run 11.
Yeah.
He was that guy.
At +2, the game was a lot different back then. You could get your head knocked off.
Mm-hmm.
Do you like what's happened with the rules to help protect players now compared to when you played?
Well, I just think it's very difficult for a defensive player if he's trying to tackle a guy and the guy is starting to go down and he's already launched to hit the guy in the chest, but now because the guy's going down, he ends up hitting him in the head, and they call it I don't understand that part of it. If a guy is, if a receiver is running and he's reaching out for a ball, you hit him in the head, I get that. But if a guy is falling down and I've already started my lunch, I don't know how you expect me to change that
Right.
and not hit this guy in the head, But I saw that a couple of times this weekend. And it just makes the game. It's like, what do you want me to do? What do you want this guy to do? So, I'm an offensive guy, but I would like to see the game fair, and I just think that's one of the things that's unfair out there right now.
We'll wrap up with this. Anytime I'm around people that know you, just say, "Man, what a great class act he is," and Aaron Taylor's a great class act. And I was reading where, if I'm not mistaken, you have like multiple people in your family that are pastors. And is that something? Have you done the pastor thing, or
the pastor thing,
or thinking
about?
Not
like this guy, that's for sure.
It's a different kind of pastor.
Look, I am not a pastor, but I mean that is actually, if I would have spoke today, I was going to talk about my faith. Yeah. That's what I was going to talk about because I think. First of all, I like to talk about it because I like to be accountable to as many people as I can be accountable to because this walk is not an easy walk. And I would love when people hear Tim Brown, they're going to stop and go, oh, let's see what Tim Brown, he's talking about, he's a man of God and this and that. No, I think it is the most important thing that ever happened to me in my life. My mom is a missionary. My uncles was a pastor of a church. My grandfather was a pastor of a church. My brother's a deacon in church now. So yeah, I mean, this is my life. It is who I am, and I'm very proud of it.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for Tim Brown. Tim Brown, everybody. Great job, Tim. Good stuff.